So we're making a video today on biasing an ACA Mini, and the first thing we have to take a look at is what P1 and P2 do when we turn them clockwise or counterclockwise. We started with all the pots, P1, P2 on both channels, turned all the way counterclockwise. And to increase the VB and VO, we're going to start to turn those pots clockwise. So this is what happens when you turn P1 clockwise. It will increase VO and increase VB. P2 turned clockwise will decrease VO and increase VB. And we'll take a look at that in a minute as we bias this thing up. When you get towards the end of the biasing procedure, you have to tweak it just a little bit, and at that point we may want to turn P1 counterclockwise to decrease VO and decrease VB, and then P2 we would use that in a counterclockwise motion to increase VO and decrease VB. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and turn the amp on, and we're going to bias it up. VO will increase. It'll go up to 11.5 volts. So the fluke meter is connected to test point 3 for VO, and I have it connected to the speaker ground, speaker negative. The meter for VB is connected to test point 1 and test point 2, and yeah, we're ready to start turning these up. We'll wait till this levels out at 11.5 volts, and then we'll start to, I choose to turn P2 up first, and I'll show you in just a second. As we looked at before, turning P2 clockwise will decrease VO and increase VB. So I'm going to choose to pull VO down using P2 to start off with. So I'm going to start to turn this until VO drops just slightly. And there we are. So the meter, or the potentiometer, is now turned to about the 3 o'clock position, and I can turn this all the way up to the same place, to about the 3 o'clock level, and then we'll see VO start to rise, and we'll see VB start to rise. And we're just going to stop about there. We're going to go up to 11.6. We've got 0.25 millivolts on our VB meter, and now I'm going to jump to P2, and which is going to bring VO down while bringing VB up. So we're going to pull VO down to about 11.2, and we've got 0.84 millivolts now. We'll jump back up to P1, which will increase VO and also increase our VB. So we'll go up to 11.6, and now we've got 9 millivolts. So we continue to do this back and forth between P1 and P2 as we use P2 here to pull the voltage, the VO down, and increase VB. And we'll jump back up to pot 1 or P1, and what we're shooting for here first of all is 150 millivolts, and then we'll let it set there for a little bit, and and warm up. So I'm just continuing to go back, jump back before across P1 and P2 until we get, I'm a little high there at 1073, so we jump back to P2 and pull VO down, and now we're up over 100 millivolts. Continue to pull VO down with P2. That's good. We're going to jump back to P2, pull the voltage down, and that's about perfect right there. So now we're going to stop the video. We're going to wait about 10. Alright, I said we were going to wait for 10 minutes, but we're ready to go here. So we waited like 6 or 7 minutes. You can see that things have stayed. VO has dropped a little bit, drifted a little bit. VB has drifted up to 190 where we started at 150, but it's pretty stable right now. So we're going to go ahead and our next step is to go up to 250 millivolts on VB, of course, while keeping VO as close as we can to 11.5 volts. So I want to increase VO while increasing VB, so I'm going to go to pot 1, P1, and there we go. Oh boy, you can keep going, Perry. So we're at 208, 151, we're looking good there. We're going to jump to P2, and we're going to pull that voltage down a little bit, and we're at 218 millivolts. Back to P1, I'm going to pull the voltage, the VO up. We're not going to go too far. We're going to go about 11.52 because we're getting really close to where we want to be. We'll pull it down just a little bit, although we're kind of there, aren't we? Yep, we're at 250 millivolts, and we'll stop there. We'll wait another 10 minutes for this thing to drift where it wants to, and then we're going to go ahead and get it up to 300 millivolts, our ending position. Alright, we're back after a 10-minute wait, and in reality, when you bias your amp, you probably should wait more like 20 minutes before doing the final adjustments. You can see we were 10 minutes ago we were at 250 millivolts. We're now at 272, and it's fairly stable, but it was still climbing, and we've dropped, our VO has dropped to 11.45. So we're going to go ahead and bring it up to 300 millivolts. I want to increase VO while bringing VB up, so I'm going to go to P1, and we're going to go ahead and bring VO up, not too far though, because we're getting close to our 300 millivolts. So you want to do smaller increments as you get close. We're really close. We're going to pull it down a little bit, VO down a little bit, just a touch. Oh, we're over 300. So this is where now we want to decrease VB while we increase VO. So we're going to go to pot P2, and we're going to turn that counterclockwise just a bit, and that's almost perfect. We've got 11.5, almost 11.5 volts, and we've got 298 millivolts. It'll probably drift up a little bit, and after you do your final adjustment, after you get to 300 millivolts, you should probably keep your eye on it for a good 10 or 15 minutes to make sure you don't have too much drift. We've gone ahead while we took our last break. we went ahead and biased this side, this right side up as well, and you can feel that all 4 heat sinks are getting nice and warm right now. We can jump over and show you this one a second. Again, if you put your red lead on test point 1, then you get a positive reading on your meter. I'm having a hard time here. It doesn't really matter if you have a negative reading, but with the red on test point 1, you'll get a positive reading. So you can see we've kind of been cheating on this one, and we went right up to 250 millivolts, and we're getting really close to our 300 millivolt final point. So we just need to make a little tweak here. We're going to bring VO up and VB up just a touch. So we're going to go to P1, where both will increase. And that's about perfect. It's just at the end here, it's going to be real slight movements of the potentiometer. Just a little pressure to the left or right is going to make quite a change. So take your time. If you get frustrated, just back it way off. You can even go back all the way back counterclockwise and start over again. But just take your time, and it's not a tough procedure, and you guys are going to do great. I hope you're doing great with your builds, and that's it. Thank you.